Hare Krishna and welcome once again to the Sriman Narayaneeyam sessions. Today let's do chapter 34 of the Sriman Narayaneeyam. Chapters 10 and 11 of Canto 9 of the Srimad Bhagavatam is condensed here in this chapter and the next. Chapters 34 and 35 of the Sriman Narayaneeyam, the condensed version of the Ramayana. Okay, so let's get started. We'll read the first verse and then discuss. गीर्वाणैरर्थ्यमानो दशमुखनिधनं कोसले शिष्यशृङ्गे पुत्रीयामिष्टिमिष्ट्वा ददुषि दशरथक्ष्माभृते पायसाग्र्यं तद्भुक्त्या तत्पुरन्द्रीष्वपि तिसृषुसमं जातगर्भा सुजातो रामस्त्वं लक्ष्मणेन स्वयमत भरतेनापि शत्रुघ्ननाम्ना. So once the Devas prayed to the Lord, to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for the destruction of the Asura king, the demon king Ravana. Accordingly, the Lord decided to incarnate along with his expansions. King Dasharatha of Kosala kingdom had no sons, and therefore he arranged for a fire sacrifice known as the Putra Kameshti Yajna for begetting children. The Yajna was performed by sage Rishyashringa. Okay. Now, from the sacrificial fire emerged the god of fire, Agnideva, with a pot of payasam, sweet, in his hands. And the three queens of Dasharatha, Kausalya, Kaikeyi, and Sumitra, they consumed this payasam and very soon they conceived simultaneously. Soon, Kausalya gave birth to Rama, Kaikeyi to Bharata, and Sumitra gave birth to twins, Lakshmana and Shatrughna. The Ramayana says, Kausalya's son, Sri Rama, was the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. And Kaikeyi's son, Bharata, was the incarnation of the Lord's conch shell, Panchajanya. And Sumitra's twins, Lakshmana and Shatrughna, were the incarnations of the serpent king, Adishesha, and the Lord's 1,000-pointed disc, Sudarshana Chakra. Okay. And it is also said that earlier, Dasharatha had a daughter. Before the birth of these sons, Dasharatha had a daughter named Shanta, who was gifted to King Romapada. So she grew up as King Romapada's daughter, and later on she was married to sage Rishyashringa, who performed this Putrakameshti Yajna now at Dasharatha's palace. So in effect, sage Rishyashringa is the son-in-law of Dasharatha. Okay, this is not mentioned in the Sriman Narayaneeyam. Narayaneeyam is just a summary, a brief summary of the Ramayanam in these two chapters, and just the important events are mentioned here. That's all. Okay. Now, once later, on the request of sage Vishwamitra, Dasharatha sends Rama and Lakshmana along with the sage to the forest to protect a fire sacrifice performed by the sage. Now, to remove their fatigue, the sage imparts two mantras, Bala and Atibala, to Rama and Lakshmana. And on their way to the forest, a demoness named Tataka charges towards them. Now, as advised by the sage Vishwamitra, and for the protection of the people in general, Rama shoots an arrow at Tataka and kills her. Now, being pleased with Rama, Vishwamitra presents Rama and Lakshmana with divine missiles. And then very soon they reach the sage's hermitage known as Siddhashrama. Now, when the yajna started at the beginning of the sacrifice, a lot of demons appeared from different places and to obstruct this sacrifice. And Rama chases Maricha. He chased Maricha away and kills all the other Rakshasas with his arrows. Okay, and after the yajna was over, sage Vishwamitra accompanied Rama and Lakshmana back to Ayodhya. And on the way back, Lord Rama purified Ahalya of her sins by the dust of his lotus feet. Ahalya was a chaste lady, but she was cursed to become a stone. And she was also told that she would regain her original form. She would be redeemed of the curse in Treta Yuga when Lord Rama would come and bless her. Okay, and now she regained her original form, paid obeisances to the Lord and left. and Rama, Lakshmana, and sage Vishwamitra, they continue their journey and they reach King Janaka's palace in Mithila. Okay. There was a competition going on. Lord Shiva's bow, the Trayambaka, was kept in the palace hall, and whoever could lift the bow and string it would get his Janaka's daughter Sita Devi in marriage. So lot of kings from different kingdoms arrived there to participate in the competition, and among them was the demon king Ravana. Nobody could lift the bow because it was very heavy, but Lord Rama very easily lifted the bow, strung it, and then broke the bow into two pieces, and thus won the hand of Sita Devi, who is none other than goddess Lakshmi Devi. Now, King Dasharatha, his queens, and all the other citizens from Ayodhya came to Mithila to participate in Rama's marriage. Okay. Now, Rama married Sita Devi, and his brothers married Sita's sisters. Bharata married Mandvi, and Lakshmana married Urmila, and Shatrughna married Shrutakirti. Now, after the function, they set out for their kingdom. Okay. Now, on the way, they were confronted by Parashurama, who was a partial incarnation of the Lord himself. But then he was defeated by Rama, and therefore he transmitted all his powers to Rama and then went away. Okay. Then they reached Ayodhya and lived happily with their queens. One day, Bharata went to his uncle's house along with Shatrughna. During that time, Dasharatha fixed the coronation of Lord Rama, which was obstructed by Kaikeyi. Kaikeyi's nurse, Manthara, poisoned her ears, saying that she should ask for Bharata to be made the king of Ayodhya, the crown prince of Ayodhya. Okay. So then she approaches her husband Dasharatha, and she had been given two boons by Dasharatha. So now she said she wanted those two boons, and she says one was to crown her son Bharata as the heir to the throne, and the second one was to send Rama to the forest in exile for 14 years. Now, hearing this, Dasharatha collapses in grief. He was grief stricken and faints. Now, to keep up his father's words, Lord Rama proceeded to the forest along with Lakshmana and Sita. Now, the citizens of Ayodhya followed them, but then Rama consoles them and sends them back. And then the three of them, they reach the residence of Guha, from where they change their dress to the garb of ascetics. They cross the Ganga river in a boat and meets Bharadwaja Rishi, to whom they pay obeisances. And as advised by Bharadwaja Muni, they build a hut on the Chitrakuta mountain and live there very happily. Okay. Soon after Rama left Ayodhya, King Dasharatha, out of grief, passed away, and Bharata was called back to perform the last rites of his father. When Bharata reached back home in Ayodhya, he came to know what had happened, and he was very angry with his mother. After the final rites, he goes to the forest along with the citizens to call Rama back. They reach Chitrakuta, and Bharata informs Rama of their father's demise. Now, Rama was very upset, and he performs Tarpana for his father. And then he said that he could not come back because he had already promised us. He wanted to keep up his father's words, and he would not come back until 14 years had elapsed. So then Bharata asked for Lord Rama's sandals. He said that he would keep the sandals on the throne and rule the kingdom on behalf of Rama until he returned. Okay, and they go back. Now, after they go back, Rama, Lakshmana, and Sita, they leave Chitrakuta and walk further down and enter the dense forest of Dandakaranya. There, they see the demon Viratha and kill him. Okay. Actually, Viratha was a Gandharva, a celestial being. He was cursed to become a demon. So, Lord Rama redeems him of his curse. And then they meet sage Sharabhanga and graciously gave salvation to the sage. Okay. Then they meet sage Agastya. And Lord Rama promised sage Agastya that he would destroy the multitude of demons to the core. Sage Agastya, being very happy with Rama, presents him with the divine Vaishnava bow and also the Brahmastra. And Rama also meets the huge bird Jatayu, who was a friend of their father, King Dasharatha. And then they reach the banks of the Godavari, the place known as Panchavati on the banks of the Godavari river, and they set up their camp there. Now, one day, a demoness, Shurpanaka, approaches Rama with passion. And seeing her lovelorn advances, Rama gets very angry and sends her to Lakshmana, who got very angry with her and chopped off her nose. And she runs to her brothers, Khara and Doshana. Seeing her state, they were very upset. So Khara, Doshana, Trisharas, and 10,000s of Rakshasas approach Rama to attack him. But then Rama kills all of them in an instant. Now Shurpanaka goes to her eldest brother Ravana and then gives an account of Sita, by which he was very much infatuated and he possessed a desire to get her. All right. Now Ravana asks his uncle Maricha to become an elusive deer and tempt Sita Devi. So he turns into a deer and then goes to the place where Rama, Lakshmana and Sita were living. Now Sita, seeing this deer, wanted to get the deer and asked Rama to get the deer for her. Now Rama goes to catch the deer, but then that deer runs fast into the forest. Rama follows the deer, but then he could not, the deer was very fast and therefore he shot an arrow at the deer. And when he shot the arrow, the deer left his body, and while dying, he regained his original form and he cried out to Lakshmana in Rama's voice. Now, hearing this, Sita could hear this voice. Hearing this, Sita got very upset and she sends Lakshmana to find out what had happened. Now, seeing that Sita Devi was all alone, Ravana abducts her. When Lakshmana and Rama come back, they found that Sita Devi was missing and they go in search of her and they find the dying Jatayu lying down. And Jatayu informs them that Ravana had taken her. He tried to defend, he tried to stop Ravana, but then he was inflicted fatal wounds by Ravana. Okay. Now, after performing the funeral rites of Jatayu, they walked forward, Rama and Lakshmana, and they come upon a headless monster, Kabantha. Kabantha had no head. His mouth was on his stomach. He was actually a Gandharva, a celestial being who was cursed to become a Rakshasa. Now, Lord Rama redeems Kabantha of his curse, and then they meet Shabari, the great ascetic lady Shabari. Okay, they give salvation. Rama gives salvation to Shabari and then gets to meet Hanuman on the banks of the river Pampa. Okay, so that is about this chapter, and the remaining part of the Ramayana we'll see in the next chapter, that is chapter 35. Now here, this chapter, the poet Sri Melpattur Narayana Bhattadripad winds up this chapter by saying, O Lord of Guruvayur, please protect me. So we'll stop here. I'll see you all soon with the remaining story, remaining part of the Ramayana very soon. Hare Krishna. Sri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram, 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 Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram, Patita Pavana Sita Ram. श्री श्री सीता राम लक्ष्मण भरत शत्रुघ्न हनुमान जी की जय।